Welcome to Over the Top. I'm your host, the Sauce Boss Saucy, and I'm here with a little bit of EFED news for you. We've been following all the EFED Twitter action so that you don't have to, and I've got a very special guest with me tonight, my co-pilot for the evening, the handler of Mr. Chris Page. Do you want to go by Chris? Do you want to go by something else?
I don't care. It's EFED.
Well, I'm going to call you Chris for the sake of simplicity. I just want to run down all this beautiful Twitter news this week, and I'm hoping you can keep me on track here. So I've got a long list. I think we should just get right to it. What do you say?
I'm here for it. Let's go.
Okay. So story number one. I know there was a big scare last week that we were going to lose one of the best of us, Mr. Denzel Porter. Got wrapped up in some things that he didn't need to get wrapped up into right before the Denzel Porter Invitational, which was a magnificent show, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to read it, definitely read it. It's hosted on the XWF forums. But I've heard that Mr. Denzel is not going away, and he is still very much involved in the EFED community. Am I wrong about that? Am I off base?
So I think everybody's aware. Denzel and I are pretty close. We talk many times a week throughout the week, and the truth is he was never going anywhere. He was gonna take a break, like he does every year. Or he did it last year after the DPI.
Okay.
The truth is he gets so overwhelmed with that particular show that he needs a break. He needs to decompress. The situation that he got drug into definitely didn't help matters, but he was never going to quit. And the narrative out there that he was is just inaccurate. He was taking a break regardless, and even after the tweet went out, I'm not sure if it said I might not come back. I don't know if that was in the context of the tweet. But my conversations with him were never and has never been I'm leaving permanently. It's always been I'm going to take a break. And when that situation went down, he just decided that he was not going to take in Twitter for a hot minute. And that lasted for like a week. So, and he's entitled to that.
Yeah, no, you see that a lot with handlers who they get involved in something out of character and your fight or flight response kicks in. And it's either, I'm in for it, I'm going to double down and I'm going to just keep pressing and I'm not going to budge an inch. Or people, and I think what most people do is they back off. They check out a little bit. They go, you know what? I'm going to just lay off of Twitter for a while. That's probably what's best for my sanity. And I don't have any issues with that. I mean, sometimes you do have to unplug a little bit. I know that we're all writers in this hobby, and we all have opinions in this hobby, but we don't need everybody's opinion on every situation. And trust me, I recognize the irony and the hypocrisy in me saying that, but we're going to be okay. If you need some time off, take it. I think people will understand, and you'll find that once you come back, that people have moved on to something else completely. So I couldn't be happier to hear that Denzel is still hanging around. He's still doing things, and I'm sure there's a lot behind the scenes that everybody's not privy to, because Denzel does seem to be a bit of a private person as well. But he's not the only person to have returned to EFEDing. Your good buddy and mine, Mr. Matt the Raven Knox, has been hanging around on Twitter lately, and and for people who know me from when I started, Matt was one of the first people that helped guide me into EFEDing, and he gave me the rub, and he helped me with some things out of character to kind of get my head right. And I know he's been through some things and he's pulled back, but he seems to be hanging around in the community again. And I don't know. I'm assuming that it may be related to the return of Pro Wrestling Valor, which is coming up in July. Have you heard that story?
Not only have I heard the story, I got an invitation.
There you go. So Pro Wrestling Valor is remind the audience, that is, the format over there. I believe it's a Twitter fed. Is that right?
It was originally, but according to the message I got from old Foxy Noxy himself, is it's a 3K fed with Twitter being factored in.
Interesting.
I'm on a wait and see kind of situation with it, and that's nothing personal with the handler. I don't have an issue with Knox. It's more of a, is the Fed going to be here in a month? Is it going to be here in a couple months? If you come in and you open a Fed or you take a Fed and you close it pretty quickly, then the mentality is there that if you did it once, you can do it again. And the last thing I want to do, is get invested in something that may not be here. But then again, it could be here, and if it is here in a month or two, well then I'll circle around to it and see what's up with it. I wish them nothing but success. I hope that it hangs around and that they can get a pretty solid roster together. From the sounds of it, it sounds like they've already got some names lined up, so they're already on the right track.
Yeah, it's just like any other Fed where you don't want to have just one person doing everything, because what happens when life happens and then all of a sudden things get delayed. So hopefully he's got some staff over there to help write the matches, to help manage human resources, and hopefully he's got someone to do the graphics. And if that's the case, if there is staff over there, then I don't see why it wouldn't be successful. So I'm all for it. I want to see how it happens. We still have 3 or 4 months before it's really up and going. So I'm cautiously optimistic, just as you are here, and I would certainly be willing to help promote whatever it is that they're doing. In that same vein of promotion, I want to talk about some of the stuff I've seen going on over at OCW. I don't swim in OCW waters, and I have at times been on different sides of conversations with folks over there. But for all intents and purposes, the content that they're putting out seems to be solid, and the ideas that they have are pretty unique. So they just wrapped up their Illuminatus event, which, Chris, do you know much about that event?
I just saw the promotions.
Yeah. So they've done a fantastic job of promoting the brand and really selling the event. I don't know if that was a shot at the EFED Illuminati or if it was just a clever idea.
I think it's a standard event there, but
it is. Okay.
In either case, well played.
Right. I mean, they do a very good job of marketing, and it affords them the right to do some shit posting as well, because they can back it up with solid content. So I certainly have respect for what they're doing over there. And their next event after the Illuminatus has wrapped up is Survival of the Fightiest, and this one really has my attention because from what I can tell, it's taking place on some type of volcanic island, and it's some type of survival type card, similar to like a Hunger Games type atmosphere. It's different, and they really undercut me on the idea, because I was going to run with a similar idea for the World Series of Wrestling, and now I don't want to touch it. Now it's their thing. So congrats to them for taking a risk with a concept and running with it. So you tell me, is that an event that they've been running for years and years as well?
No, that I don't know about.
Okay.
I can't tell you anything. I don't have anything negative to say about the product over there. I dig what they've been putting out. And what's crazy to me is now that people are starting to see what's being put out over there, quality-wise of shows, it should come as no surprise that this has been the quality of shows that OCW has put together since the Fed has been back in operation for well over a year.
Yeah.
This is nothing new to me. The quality of the programs have always been there, and the Fed head has a pretty good mind for what's going on. Whether people like him, don't like him, or what have you, it's all not relevant in the bigger picture. Is that the product is always stellar. I sent him messages privately for the last pay-per-view, the Illuminatus, the one prior to that. Just told him how good I thought his roster was doing.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to well, I just did. Now people will start hating them because I've publicly said that passed a compliment on about a roster. But it's the truth. They've got really good writers. They always have. Whether people liked them or didn't like them.
Yeah, I'm looking at their website now, and I spent some time on it earlier this week, and it really feels like a throwback to the first Fed I was in. It has that same feel to it. It's kind of edgy, but the forum is simple, but it's got everything there. The belt graphics are really nice. The rankings are really nice. So, if I were a man that had twice as much time on my hands, I may go over there and embarrass myself. But for the time being, I hope they continue doing what they love doing, because I think they got a good thing going. So I'll leave it there. Giving credit where credit is due. I think we probably need to do a better job of doing that. At least I do, reaching out to some feds where I haven't worked. So let me just hit a couple other ones here. You talked last time you were on the show. You talked about Pro Wrestling Apex and their Demons Run Rumble coming up. I know you're a part of that, and that means a lot to some of the people involved because of what's going on with that Fed throughout this year. So I hope that event goes off without a hitch. Chris, you want to add a comment to that?
Well, I mean, I had fun with the piece that I did for them, and this is hard to talk about because the community did lose a name and someone with connections to the game and heavy connections to Apex. So kind of like I did in my role play, I didn't necessarily I sold the Battle Royal, but I really sold it as the memorial. This is why we're here. Title shot secondary really doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's nice to see a tribute show once in a while.
Yeah, and there may be other memorial battle royals for Nick, but there's only going to be one first.
Yeah,
and taking that win over any other win would make it that much more meaningful. That's the way my character played it. Versus, rolling in like a dig bag heel. I acknowledge
right.
What we're here for. And we'll see, I did one other thing with Apex, and that's because Nick asked me to do it. Yeah, he was on a fireside late last year, and he's like, would you be interested? Sure. And did a couple of another podcast after that for Apex, promoting their December pay-per-view. I never had a crossword with the guy. So when I saw that it was a memorial battle royal for him, well, fucking yeah, I'm going to make some time and do it. And that's where we're at. So, I wish Apex nothing but the best, and we'll see how this battle royal shakes out and kind of see what happens from there.
Sure. Also in the news lately, IIW has jumped on the magazine bandwagon, putting J-Mon on the cover, which I think is a great idea. Something that I dabbled in earlier last year, but for any folks out there who have a Fed who would like to do a magazine graphic, reach out to me and I'd be happy to show you how I do it and give you the templates on how to do it really, really easy. It's much easier than you think it is. But just that kind of fluff content, I think, goes a long way. Just put a coat of paint on that baby and get it off the lot. I like what IIW's done, and Chris, I know that you've worked over there a little bit. And your buddy Fred Debonair is the guy that I most identify with that brand. But I just wanted to shout out to IIW.
I still do work there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You work too many places.
I have a secret alt character that's out there.
Oh, interesting.
In a couple of different places right now. And some places may not even know. And then there are some places that do know, but it's fun.
Oh, I'm blissfully ignorant. I'm always shocked when I hear that, oh, did you know this person actually is handled by the same person as this other character? I'm always taken off guard. I'm naive and gullible.
Eventually, I'll pull that curtain back for you, and your mind's going to be pulled.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it will. All right, next, the next card that I see coming up here, I want to shout out to is the Killsdozer Cup coming up for Combat Unlimited Lethal Trials. They always bring the heat with everything that they do, and this is a 12-person deathmatch tournament. They're calling the Killsdozer Cup. I don't know how you get 12 people in a tournament. Usually it's 8, 16, 32, but this is going to be a gusher. I'm curious to see.
They're probably going to go down to a triple threat main event. Is there brackets out for it?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to investigate more. We've still got 4 weeks until that thing really kicks off. But Cult is one of these companies who I did not think would last very long. And I've been pleasantly surprised by the work and dedication of the folks that are over there. Casanova English is the guy that I know from Cult, but there are other people who are really into the product. And if you like that flavor of wrestling, nobody does it better than they do. So congrats to them. Looking forward to the event, and keep putting out content. Tease this thing.
Cult is it's that monthly one shot, and it's I think it's like a 2,000 or a 2,500 word limit unless things have changed. So it's a super quick thing, and I think that Casanova was, when I saw that approach to when he first came out of one show, small limit, I was like, that's going to be successful, and he has been, and he'll continue to be, as long as he wants to run the Fed.
Well, they're not the only company that's doing one of these big shows. We did get a little we got a little tease this week from the folks over at Pro Wrestling Excellence, who are putting together a tag team tournament to start in late April, early May, which that should be interesting. I mean, for whatever complaints people have about the folks over there, they do very good work. The website is very good looking. The graphics are very good. The writers are all very talented. And whatever complaints people have are personality complaints. They are not complaining about the quality of the work. So I think the quality of the work is going to speak for itself. I think it's going to be very good, and I applaud them for taking on a tag team tournament, because anytime you network people together, I think that's a good thing for the hobby. We saw this last year with Level Up doing their tag team tournament. Now PWE is going to be doing a tag team tournament with a lot of the same people, and it should be really, really good. So I don't think that they've really put a name on it yet or really did a lot of marketing with it, but the genie's out of the bottle. Now it's got to happen. It's got to happen, right? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't follow the product, so I don't know anything about it. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
I think a tag team tournament in general is a great idea. We're currently seeing another tag team tournament that's coming up with Thunder Pro Wrestling and their S.E.X Cup, which is what the Sports Entertainment Express Cup. It has nothing to do with actual penetration. It is a strictly tag team wrestling event. I believe it's at least 8 teams, but if enough interest is garnered for it, I could see it going to 12 or to 16. That's something that I'm heavily involved in because I'm already in that Fed, but I think you're already looking at taking on a partner, and they are actively recruiting other tag teams to come in. So it's wide open. Anybody can come in there, and the tag team belts are going to be up for grabs every round of that tournament. So I mean, it's a great opportunity. If you've wanted to work with somebody, it's a good time to do it. So Chris, who is your partner in that?
Well, I was asked, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to divulge. So we'll leave it at that because it's not been 100% confirmed as of this recording.
Okay.
So it's not as Chris Page. I'll put it that way.
So it's Chris Page and John Cable going.
It's not Chris Page.
It's not Chris Page. Oh, right. Okay.
It's not Chris Page.
Okay. I think I know where you're going with that.
And I don't know if John's going to do it. John asked me to do it, but until he comes back and says that he's reached out to the proper people, it's all speculation and it's all rumor and innuendo.
Well, that anything that people do in this hobby that gets people speaking and reaching out and saying, "Hey, do you want to do this?" Like, those are good things. So Eric Thunderlips over at TPW deserves a lot of credit for taking a risk and trying to put together a tournament, which is going to be a lot of work and a lot of recruiting, because it's going to give a platform to some folks who have been dying to work with each other and will finally get the opportunity to do it, even if it's just on a short-term basis. So applause for Eric and for what Thunder Pro has been doing lately.
The product's been good for the relaunch. I think he's doing fine. I think Thunder Pro will be okay. They just need to get a couple more roster members, and then they'll be cooking with grease.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chris, I've got a bunch more news here, but I think we should call it quits for today and maybe come back tomorrow, finish up the rest of it. So what do you say? You want to come back tomorrow, run it back one more time?
Sure. If we're still on the air, have we tanked yet?
Have we tanked? No. We're going to take over the market with brute force, putting out videos every day or every 12 hours until people like it. We're going to fake it until we make it. And this show is a big part of that. So this has been EFED News. I am the Sauce Boss. And my co-host for this evening has been the handler of Chris Page. Chris, anything else you want to say before we sign off here?
No, man. Let's run it back tomorrow. Appreciate you guys listening, and if you haven't liked and subscribed, I strongly suggest you do so right about now.
That's right. So from Over the Top and EFED News, thanks for coming around. Be excellent to each other, and we'll see you tomorrow.